Useless employees who don't work might as well be fired, even a cat would be better.
Hearing those words, I secretly fist-pumped in my mind. I had finally managed to provoke him into saying he'd fire me. I hadn't expected to be compared to a cat, but everything was going smoothly so far. I just smiled. Of course, I didn't refuse. I just nodded slightly and continued speaking. Then, good luck working with a cat. My name is Tim. I am 28 years old. I currently work as an ordinary professional in an IT company. I've been with this workplace since I graduated, for 6 years now. Every day I learn a lot, and having always been interested in computers and IT-driven businesses, I feel quite fulfilled. The IT industry continues to grow domestically. In an industry that will remain essential in Japan's future, I hope to develop services that can be of some help to people. Thinking that the services I develop might someday help someone somewhere keeps my ideas flowing. My job primarily involves providing customers with products, services, and programs to solve problems, covering a wide variety of offerings. Our company serves a diverse clientele, from individuals to businesses, making it a job that deals with many different partners. It's easy to work here because the company has good internal communication and connections among employees. We actively hire young talent, and above all, our company's track record has been strong, leading to high employee retention rates. Especially significant is the presence of our bosses. Our president, White, genuinely appreciates his subordinates. He always keeps an eye out to make sure employees have a comfortable work environment, earning him widespread trust. I work here daily, grateful that I can do what I love in such a supportive workplace. I thought these peaceful and fulfilling days would continue forever, but little did I know. A few months ago, an event that drastically changed my everyday life occurred. It all started when White's chronic illness worsened. He suddenly collapsed at work. The workplace was thrown into chaos, and he was immediately rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, White's life was not in danger, but he had to be hospitalized for a while. When I visited him, he opened up about his illness. He was never physically strong, which naturally led him to engage in home activities like computers and gaming, sparking his interest in IT. He also mentioned that his health had not been good lately and spoke candidly, his expression somewhat somber.
I'm sorry for the trouble I've caused.
Not at all. Everyone is worried about you. We all want you back as our president soon, I said. White, with a slight smile at my words, hesitated before speaking.
I've been thinking a lot.
My health is declining. It's about time for a generational change. I think it's fair to hand over the presidency to my son, Tyler, but he can be quite stubborn. I'm worried about leaving everyone in his hands. Your son, I heard he's working at another IT company now, I mentioned.
Yes, he's there to learn to take over my company.
I don't know why he's so fixated on the title of president. It might trouble you guys, but please support him, he explained, visibly struggling. I couldn't fully grasp White's feelings, but seeing his concern as a father for his son, I nodded. I didn't know much about Tyler, other than the fact that he was White's son. Surely, he must be positive about IT and hardworking. At that moment, I sincerely believed that. Little did I know, this belief would soon be drastically betrayed. Months had passed since then. White's condition hadn't improved much, leading to a prolonged hospital stay. As a result, his son Tyler was coming here to become the second president.
What kind of person might he be? The president's son. Maybe an incredible engineer.
Who knows? But since he was studying at another company to take over, I bet his IT skills are impressive. White asked everyone to rely on his son. Someone remarked.
The president is so conscientious. That's why I love working here.
Another added, and I nodded in agreement. Everyone here loves the IT business and cares about this company. We support each other and tackle any difficulties together. The way White has always interacted with the employees has shaped what we are today. We continue our work as usual, even with a change in presidency, to maintain that legacy. Today is the day when the second president, Tyler, arrives. Thanks to White's good nature, nobody seemed too nervous about the new president taking over. The atmosphere changed completely when Tyler made his entrance. As soon as Tyler walked into the office, everyone bowed their heads on the spot. However, Tyler met their respect with a dismissive look and let out a small sigh. His expression a mix of anger and apathy, leaving everyone confused. The confusion deepened when he spoke his greeting.
Just a bunch of unimpressive faces.
Well, you were all under that old man, so no surprise. From today on, I'll be serving as the president here. I plan to completely change the way things are done and strive for greater company performance. Those who can't keep up will be quickly cut off, so be prepared. The moment Tyler spoke, the color drained from the employees' faces. It was a clear shift from the previously cheerful atmosphere to one of fear and trepidation. After surveying everyone with a pressuring gaze, Tyler smirked and continued.
There's no surviving the future with the lukewarm methods like my father's. Work yourselves to the bone for the company, for me.
Isn't this kind of bad? Totally not what we expected.
Yay, indeed, a colleague muttered to me in a low voice. I was just as shocked, so I nodded slightly. From that day on, the atmosphere in the office was unmistakably different. The days that followed were honestly like hell. The job I once thought was fun completely changed. We were forced into daily overtime, and any mistakes were met with public reprimands. Yet, no one could stand up to Tyler, the president. Some employees had left due to the sudden change in the company, but many of us stayed because we loved the company and respected White. Those of us who remembered the past few years found it hard to just walk away.
Hey, who prepared this document? The numbers are all wrong. It's impossible to make such a mistake on a revision. Who did this?
Sorry, it was me.
Are you kidding me?
The new employees were terrified by the sudden change in environment. Even those who were just getting accustomed to the new job were completely intimidated by the harsh reprimands for minor mistakes. President, I'm sorry. It was my mistake, as I was the one checking it. I apologize.
Tim.
I said this, stepping in front of my junior who was being scolded. I bowed my head, waiting for Tyler's response, when suddenly, I felt a liquid poured over my head. The office atmosphere turned chaotic.
Tim.
It's okay, I reassured everyone. To my surprise, Tyler flipped over the coffee on his desk right above my head.
You couldn't even spot a mistake made by your subordinate. You're incompetent. I'll let it slide this time.
But if something like this happens again, I'll dock your pay. Sorry. Tyler just sneered at me as I apologized and left the office. The atmosphere in the room became tense and quiet.
Are you okay? Here, take this towel. Seriously, that guy is out of control.
Thanks, I'm totally fine. It's a good thing the coffee was cold. My colleague chuckled. That's not the point, with a wry smile. It wasn't a laughing matter, but all we could do now was laugh bitterly. Would this be our daily routine from now on? Everyone was confused by the sudden changes in the company. And then, a few months later, the incident happened. We received a complaint email from a company using the system our company developed. It stated that information had leaked due to using the system, and I immediately identified the cause. As soon as I found out the reason, I reported it to Tyler. We received a notification that some of the data from the company, which you kindly favor, has been lost due to errors in the program. When I mentioned that part, Tyler suddenly stood up, his expression turning fierce.
What? Fix it now, don't dawdle.
It's already been addressed. We've already apologized to the other party. They mentioned the information wasn't that critical. Tyler visibly relaxed at my words. But that wasn't the main issue. Anyway, boss, you were using this program yesterday, right? Did you perform this task when you closed it? As soon as I asked, Tyler's brows furrowed in confusion. Seeing his reaction, I tried to explain as tactfully as possible. They want a detailed investigation into the cause from us. Although it won't change our relationship with them, they want us to be cautious. It seems like yesterday, you didn't fully close the program, causing the situation we're in." Before I could finish, Tyler abruptly stood up and glared at me intensely. I thought I was delivering my message softly, but it seemed to offend him. Though I felt like sighing at the predictable turn of events, I kept my composure and continued speaking. "It's okay, we handled it properly, and they weren't even angry."
Actually, it's your fault that the program is so difficult to use.
"Isn't it? You're the one who made it, right? So it's not my fault, it's all your fault." If I tell them I made a mistake, they won't let it slide, you know. Tyler's attitude really got under my skin. Despite the other party's understanding and their reminder that everyone makes mistakes and to be more careful next time, Tyler only cared about covering his own back and showed no sign of reflection. And on top of that, he was blaming me, the one who developed a program, and yelling his head off. It's not about that. It's about making improvements for the future. In this industry, information is crucial. As the president, you should know better than anyone that you need to be careful amidst all this information. It's not about assigning blame or anything like that. I regretted letting my frustration show. But now that it was out there was no taking it back. By the time I finished speaking, Tyler was boiling with anger, slamming his fist down on the desk. The loud noise echoed through the office, making everyone flinch and look at us with anxious expressions.
"You, who do you think you are?
Talking back to the president like that? You have some nerve, blaming me and then lecturing me on top of it all." "I wasn't trying to lecture you."
Shut up, I've had it with you. You're getting too big for your britches just because you know a little more detail."
I quickly realized it was futile to try and reason with him. No matter how much I argued, it only fueled Tyler's anger. In the end, unless we admitted fault and apologized, he wouldn't calm down. And that day, he seemed particularly on edge. Tyler came out with something unexpected.
"That's it, can a slacker like you even handle this job? You better start regretting what you said."
"Your seat might be gone before you know it." Essentially, it sounded like I was getting fired. I couldn't believe he would say something like that, so I stood there speechless. Seeing me stunned, Tyler smirked satisfactorily and left the office.
Are you okay?
"Yay, I'm fine, but I mean, working here under those conditions." I didn't finish my sentence, but everyone present knew. There's no bright future here, even if we keep working. The company that White built was nowhere to be seen. All that's left is an environment where mistakes aren't tolerated and an arrogant boss. But really, it's all because Tyler became the president of this company. He points out our mistakes and gets furious, all while ignoring his own shortcomings. You would want to follow a boss like that. Since our words don't seem to get through to him, all we can do is show it through our actions. When I pondered what to do, something came to mind. I see.
What's up?
Well, yay, let's change this environment. We don't need to hold back. Let's protect what White has built here. I have a plan. There's no need to force ourselves to stay in this environment. After all, Tyler doesn't know. It's him who would be in trouble if we were to leave. I prepared for it over the next few months. Then, one day, when I was ready to act at any moment, I finally decided to make my move.
Hey, who activated this program?
It was me.
What are you doing? You know we were told not to activate it because it's still under development.
I showed a worried expression at his words. It's going just as I expected. Tyler confronted me in a rage. And he continued to berate me, shouting loudly.
You're truly incompetent, always dragging us down, and this time I won't forgive you.
I absorbed his anger, yet still refused to apologize. His anger intensified even further as he spoke to me.
A useless person like you not doing any work is a joke, even a cat would be better.
Upon hearing those words, I internally cheered. Finally, I had managed to provoke a dismissal. I hadn't expected to be compared to a cat, but everything was going smoothly so far. I smiled smugly. Of course, I didn't object. Instead, I nodded slightly and continued. Well then, good luck competing with a cat.
What?
My response must have been unexpected. Tyler stared at me wide-eyed, frozen in place. But then, with a look of disbelief, he chuckled and said to me, shaking his head,
Hey, are you serious, threatening to fire me like that?
"Yeah, please go ahead and fire me. There's no point in working for this company anymore."
Huh, you don't even have your next job lined up, so what are you talking about?
As Tyler's expression gradually darkened, I handed him my resignation letter. And with a formed tone, I uttered, "No, my next job is already secured.
What?
I'll be joining Brown ID, so today's my last day here. Oh, and I think there'll be others leaving too, since all you need is a cat as an employee, right? So, I'm sure it'll be fine." Upon hearing this, Tyler momentarily froze, then seemed to grasp the meaning of my words and stood up, raising his voice.
Brown, why would you go to our rival company? Are you planning to betray us?
I couldn't help but feel a bit astonished at how we ended up in this situation with him still not understanding. Unless he realizes that it's his own fault we're in this mess, I doubt anyone would want to work here. It's you as our new president who looked down on us and betrayed us first, right? Plus, you're the one who said I was fired. So we're just following your lead. Actually, Brown, its president, personally recognized my abilities and reached out to me.
Recognized your abilities.
My colleague continued, addressing Tyler with a puzzled expression. You might not know, but this guy here holds a highly prestigious ID strategist certification, even within the ID field. He's developed some of the programs used in this company, yet he's treated as incompetent. It's concerning for all of us, isn't it?
What, you, an IT strategist?
An ID strategist is a specialized role in systems and software management, focusing on strategic planning and leading project execution from a management perspective. It's not a job that requires a specific certification. Anyone with the right skills and experience can claim the title. However, there's a national exam to objectively prove those skills. I passed that exam in the past and hold the ID strategist certification. It's said to be worth 5 years of practical experience and has a considerably low pass rate. It's considered one of the most challenging exams in the information processing engineer exam category. But for me, with a hobby in ID, studying for the exam was an opportunity to gain new knowledge. Only White and a few colleagues know about this certification. I didn't intend to boast, but this certification is highly beneficial for the role I'm in. When White found out about my certification, he was quite surprised but accepted it with a laugh, saying, "We've got an impressive one joining us." As I reminisce about this, I continue with my story. Essentially, because of my knowledge, there were tasks only I could handle at this company. Some of the programs used here were my creations. So if I were to resign, the rights would be mine, and I could make them unusable here. If that happens, it'll disrupt some of the operations. I understood that it would be quite a blow to this company. Well, since I have the rights to what I've created, I'll prohibit their use here. Oh, and I'll delete all the programs before I resign, so no worries.
Wait a minute, if you do that, our company will.
Yay, well, there might be some jobs that won't function anymore. Not my problem, though. Tyler's face turned blue at my statement. But since he's the one who handed out the pink slip, I'll just resign as instructed. The offer from Brown ID came at the perfect time. I've decided to go there without hesitation. And there's one more thing.
Starting today, we'll all be joining Brown ID.
Huh, all of you, wait, why?
I interrupted Tyler's words to add mine. I've negotiated some terms with Brown ID. With a smirk, I continued, leaving Tyler gaping in disbelief. Even if it's just me resigning, I can't save the future of the employees here. I laid out certain conditions to the president of Brown ID who had scouted me. One of them was to ensure the employees here have guaranteed job placements elsewhere. Of course, I didn't think I had the ability to guarantee that. But I listed out what the employees here can do and presented it to President Brown. I also proposed transferring all the rights of the programs and systems I developed to Brown, with the condition that they cannot be used at White anymore. President Brown readily agreed to these terms, so we all ended up moving to the rival company.
Isn't this betrayal, you planning to betray my father?
Well, we've received a lot of favors from former President White. So we discussed this matter thoroughly with him before taking action.
What?
Tyler wore a puzzled expression. Yes, leaving this company is akin to betraying White. That's absolutely unacceptable. That's why I decided it was best to involve him in our plan.
I never thought things would turn out like this. It's entirely my fault.
Dad.
With a click, White entered the office. Tyler froze on the spot at the sudden appearance of his father, his eyes widening in shock. With a small sigh, White bowed deeply towards us.
Everyone, I'm truly sorry.
I may be stubborn, but I appointed Tyler as the next president with the hope that he would work hard alongside all of you at this workplace. However, my behavior only caused discomfort for the employees. It's my fault as a parent.
No, it's not the president's fault. Please lift your head up.
The colleagues voiced their agreement with the coworker's words. I stepped forward in front of Tyler to continue speaking. I thought Brown ID, which regularly scouts talented individuals, would accept the employees working under White, since there are fewer of us. As expected, they were all accepted. I had consulted White about this beforehand. It was difficult to bring up this topic to White in the hospital, but he listened to my words earnestly until the end. Furthermore, feeling that words alone were insufficient, I gathered evidence in the form of audio recordings and videos of Tyler's verbal abuse and mistreatment of employees. I'll never forget White's expression when I showed him that.
I never expected things to turn out like this. It was my mistake to have even a bit of hope in you.
Dad, you're siding with them too.
That's why people call you naive. What will happen to the company if they're gone? White ID will cease to exist.
It won't disappear. What we've built up until now will be passed on to Brown ID.
This time, Tyler was truly at a loss for words at White's statement. White squinted, wearing an indescribable expression on his face. Yes. White himself was leaving the company he had built and joining Brown ID. Originally, White ID and Brown ID were rival companies, but they weren't on bad terms. In the ID industry, companies can collaborate by combining their respective developments. I hoped White could utilize his expertise at Brown, ensuring that what he had built wouldn't disappear and would reflect in the performance.
Mr. Brown, the president, also acknowledged White and expressed his desire for him to support our company.
Mr. Brown said he would accept my important subordinates, and I also said I'd work hard with him. Seems like you told Smith and the others that cats are better than you. A company president like you won't cut it.
What are you talking about?
From today, White ID is your company alone. Tyler, you can do as you please. Everyone else will move to Brown.
Tyler's face turned pale as the words were bluntly delivered.
So, what about this company?
That's why I said you can do as you please. If you can work hard with cats, then go ahead.
Don't mess around. If you do that, my future will be.
At this point, everyone wore a cold expression toward Tyler. He was only thinking about himself. And rightly so. Tyler's way of dealing with even minor mistakes was to get angry, berate, and try to control with fear. It wouldn't be surprising if employees left at any time under such circumstances. It just happened to be today. We don't know if he had put in any effort to inherit his parents' company. He continued with such terrible behavior. I believe Tyler is entirely at fault for not valuing his employees. As Tyler stood there dumbfounded, our eyes met. At that moment, he turned red-faced and lunged at me. It was so sudden, and I never expected him to resort to violence in this situation. So I was caught off guard and fell flat on my back as he grabbed my collar. Although my colleagues tried to intervene, Tyler's momentum was so intense that he might end up injuring someone. Moreover, since there were many precision instruments around, I judged it would be dangerous to retaliate, so I shouted, "It's okay."
It's your fault, it's because of your unnecessary actions that everything has gone wrong. This company was supposed to be mine.
But it's all ruined because of you. Take responsibility. It's my fault. It's because of you. Who've been doing whatever you want and can only intimidate all the employees. The atmosphere here used to be much better before you came. And everyone's work was more fulfilling. Isn't it you who took that away from us? I stared straight at Tyler and let out all my true feelings. We're not at fault, and what irritated me even more was being looked down upon by Tyler in a company I love. That's why I decided to let it all out right here, raising my voice. It seems Tyler was provoked by my words, as he slapped his hand hard against my cheek. A dull pain spread across my cheek, and a metallic taste filled my mouth, with another sharp slap echoing. The other employees and Mr. White seemed like they were about to intervene, but I stopped them with my gaze. Wiping the corner of my mouth with my sleeve, I stared at Tyler intensely. Perhaps feeling a bit intimidated, he slightly loosened his grip on my collar. So you easily lose your temper like this, and in the end, you even resort to violence. You've been taking it out on the employees because you couldn't accept what you didn't like. Isn't this the result of that? If you only harassed me, it would have been fine, but… I grabbed the hand on my collar firmly and stood up. Tyler, whose posture had collapsed, was now sitting on the floor, looking up at me with a dumbfounded expression. I just couldn't tolerate trampling on this important company, its employees, and White. I want to protect what's precious to me. I'll do anything I can. Working under someone like you is far less appealing than taking action and making something happen on my own.
You can't talk to the president like that.
So that's why you're no longer our president. That being said, I'll leave resignation letters for everyone. Are you okay, Tim?
I nod slightly to my colleague, who hands me a handkerchief. Suddenly, I notice White's expression. His brows furrowed in sadness.
Tyler.
At those words, Tyler snaps his head up. He must have thought there was still hope with White, his father. Clutching onto White's feet as if to cling on for dear life, Tyler continues in a pleading tone.
Hey, Dad, is this really okay, having the company taken over by some stranger? Aren't you ashamed, if it were me?
Tyler, I no longer have any expectations of you.
What do you mean?
White, with a cold expression, was quietly angry. With a calm and gentle demeanor, White, for the first time, freezes everyone in the room.
You're not fit to be the company's president if you don't value your comrades and only act for your own desires.
I have no intention of interfering in your life from now on, but I won't support you either.
Wait a minute.
I'll let you have this company.
However, all the knowledge and experience I've built up with my team will be used for Brown ID. You insulted my valued subordinates. Do as you please. White concludes the conversation without bothering to listen to Tyler's argument. Tyler, who fell to his knees right there, repeatedly tried to speak to White, but everything was ignored. And so, our hellish days came to an end. Afterward, we safely began working as employees at Brown ID, and it seems White also had discussions with Brown. Surprisingly, the two seemed to share similar farts. They agreed that all the previous technology would be taken from White, under the assumption that Tyler wouldn't have access to it. Tyler, having lost his father and subordinates, was unable to keep the company running alone. It seems there were several attempts at reconciliation with White, but all were rejected. In the end, White ID went bankrupt quickly. Tyler, who seemed to have worked all this time just to inherit the company, ended up losing everything because of his actions. I don't know what lies ahead for him. But since this incident, his information has been shared with other companies, making it likely difficult for him to find another job in the same industry. It might seem cruel for him, who can only live within the ID industry, but he brought it upon himself. He should just regret his actions. And so, we started fresh, beginning work at our new workplace. There were some aspects we weren't used to compared to White ID. But everyone had a proactive and diligent personality, so we quickly adapted. Thanks to Mr. Brown's generosity, he provided an environment where everyone could work in their areas of expertise, for which we couldn't thank him enough. It seems Brown and White have good chemistry, as they agreed to my somewhat forceful proposal. In fact, it appears that Brown and White have built a relationship like longtime friends. We're enjoying fulfilling days in a comfortable workplace.
You know, I feel like something's missing in this system.
How about adding this here?
I see, then this part could be utilized differently.
I still love this job where I can utilize my skills, collaborate with other colleagues, and create systems that are helpful to someone. I realize that the satisfaction of this job lies in the programs and systems born not just from my own abilities, but from the knowledge and perspectives of many people. I hope these programs and systems will someday benefit someone's life. This incident made me realize the importance of caring for and valuing those around me. No matter how well equipped I am with skills and resources, despite holding challenging qualifications myself, there are many things I couldn't accomplish without my colleagues. Reflecting on Tyler's situation, I strongly feel grateful to work alongside colleagues and bosses who trust me